We need to get these 2 fields ploughed and destoned today, ready for planting. This field always feels like it takes a little bit longer to do. It's already 10 to 4 in the afternoon. We've got an awful lot left to do and not a lot of time left to do it. Hello and welcome along and welcome back to No Man's Land. We are headed up to these 2 fields here today because we need to get these ploughed and destoned ready for planting. I'm going to switch this round so that we are going the right way. I'm going to start with our further field today and start off up here. A slightly different way to how we normally do this field, because we normally do this field with the... Actually, no. We do want to be starting down the bottom because the angle at the top here is slightly wrong for how we want to do this field. Whereas at the bottom here, it's all pretty good. So, yeah, this is much better. Gives us a much better idea of the angle we should be on. And also a really good indication of where we should be turning around. So down with this here. And away we go here. And we should get these 2 fields ploughed and destoned today. A question came up in one of the recent videos in the comments as to why haven't I started the lime production? This is why. We are looking at getting these 2 fields done, the stones from these 2 fields in, and then we're going to kick the lime production off. Hopefully going to be doing that today as well, if we can get these 2 fields destoned. And as a result, we should end up with a decent amount of stones, a decent amount of lime. And then when the price reaches the top, as we've discussed in previous videos, we are going to sell off that lime because we don't need it at the moment, and hopefully make a good amount of money from it. Part of the reason why I want to get the lime started today, and in fact, we're going to have to also top up the water in our greenhouse, is now part of the reason why I want to get the lime production started today, and in fact, we're going to have to top up the water in our greenhouse as well, is because we actually are in the black for, well, it's only going to be today because by the time we get into the next day, we're going to be in the red again because of our cash flow. So what we're going to need to do is get any water we need out of the ground today, because we can't actually do that while we have no money. Even though it costs us nothing to get the water, we just can't fill it up from our water tower while we have no cash, for whatever reason that is. So we need to make sure that we sort our water today, get everything watered and our lime production filled up and everything like that. So we're good to go as we proceed through October. If we can get these fields ready today as well, if we can get these finished, then we should be in a position where we can get these fields planted in the near future as well. We've got 3 days in October and we do need to get the barley in before the end of the month. So should be plenty of time to do that. And of course, if we're going to get 3 cuts out of our grass next year as well, we really need to be doing a cut of grass in November as well. In October as well. And in order to do that, we're probably going to have to do that maybe the last day of October, depending on how we do. But we've got to cut, row. Well, we shouldn't have to row because our mower has a swather on it, so we need to cut it, bale it and wrap it, get the field cleared, and then on top of that roll it. So yeah, there's a lot for us to do on the farm in the 3 days we've got of October. But once we get that out of the way, we're actually looking at being able to move fairly quickly. We need to get some fertilizer on here as well. We also need to get some fertilizer onto our other fields too, where we've got the canola in, before that goes up another growth stage. I don't know if that will in November or whether that will stay the height it is now. But yeah, certainly we've got to get some fertilizer on there fairly sharpish to make sure that those fields get to their full potential. So it's going to be a very, very busy October, followed by not quite such a busy November. And then, of course, we get into December after that, and it's the mass selling off to make as much money from this first year's harvest as we can. It's a pity we don't have more money at the moment, because right now there is a fantastic offer in the sales in the shop. We look in here, look at these. So last time we had this come up, we had a John Deere 4755 come up for 61,000. We've got a second come up at 41,000, so 42,000. It's got more hours on it. It's got 40 hours on it. But, oh, man, such a pity we don't have the money to afford this tractor, because this would be a cracking second tractor on our farm. But yeah, there's just not the cash there at the moment. What's the horsepower? 190 horsepower. Yeah, that would be perfect. So we're just kind of hoping at the moment that a tractor comes up like that when we are looking for it later, when we get some money in, and yeah, and we're actually sitting a lot prettier than we are now. I could sell a load of crop off. I could sell a load of a lot of stuff off, and get that one for 40,000. But yeah, I don't want to go and scupper the future progress of the farm that way. It's one of those things. I actually had a comment on one of my earlier videos from this series. It was when I bought the stump grinder. And the comment basically went, "Oh, like all bloggers, you just want new stuff. What you could do that with a chainsaw." And I have actually responded to it on that video as well, because it did make me chuckle a little bit. Because anybody who's watched my stuff, you guys know I will often overlook getting a bright, shiny new piece of equipment, because I don't think our farm can afford it. I don't think it's something we need right there and then. And the same is true here. I could very easily borrow 40,000, buy one of those tractors that are on offer, and have a nice snazzy new tractor that we can run on this farm. I don't want to do that. I think it wouldn't serve this series right to be buying a piece of equipment like that. So always interesting to see comments and bits like that. And always happy to respond to them both in these videos and actually in the comment section below. So if you ever have anything you want to suggest to me or comment on or anything that, please feel free to do so, because I think it's always an interesting thing to see what you guys are thinking as I am progressing through this series. But we are now progressing through this field quite nicely. We're about halfway through it by looks of things, and it's only 20 to 11 in the morning. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get everything done we want to do today. We'll see how far we get. On that note, this field always feels like it takes a little bit longer to do. I think it's because it's a lot squarer than our other three fields. The other three fields are much longer and have, means that we get a much longer time before we're doing lots of the maneuvering. Whereas this field, being a bit squarer, yet still being the same size, means our runs down the field and our working down the field is always that little bit shorter, and we're doing a lot more maneuvering as a result. It's a really interesting contrast between the two types of work that we end up, or the two ways that we end up working these fields. It's so very odd. It is now 11:45, nearly midday in game, and we have got a good 3/4 of the way through this field. So we're making good progress. It is, as always, taking time because we have the smaller plow, and yeah, I think if I ended up getting a bigger tractor, if we got something with a bit more horsepower and had this little tractor sort of relegated to doing our yard work and stuff, we probably would get a bigger plow as well. Get these fields plowed a little bit quicker. We are, of course, solely doing plowing on here, not cultivating or or subsoiling, because we actually want to pull up stones. Our lime production is a great way for us to bring in cash, and as a result we can make a little bit of money off the lime and off the stones by doing it this way. That means we don't have to worry about rolling the fields after we have initially prepared them for planting. So yeah, no rolling of stones back in. And as we should see this year, we should make a decent amount of money. I have had a thought about how I've been using the woodlands on here, and how I've been using the woods and doing the timber stuff. It very much seems to be the contracting side of things on No Man's Land. We don't have any contracts available to us. So the next best thing we have to raise a bit of quick money has always been for our play on here to go and cut a couple of trees down and do that, which I think is perfectly acceptable. The more I look at it, the more I think that, yeah, we need a bit of money, we can go and cut a tree down. It's the same thing as if I was playing any other map that had fields. We need a bit of money, we'll go and do a couple of contracts and get a bit of money in like that. So yeah, it's very much the way we do things on here, sort of reflecting back on it. We're coming up to the top of the field now, and you can see why we did this at this angle. There's that little section down by the trees there that allow us to have a good angle coming up the top here. It means that it's much easier to sort of do this last little top section and work it through. So I'm just going to fill in this top bit now. We'll leave a little bit of a channel down there in order to get that bit done. But I'm just wondering, actually, whether it's worth doing the headland down that side of the field, finishing off this top bit at this correct angle, and then seeing if I can get the rest of it to work how I want. It should be a lot easier, actually. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll head down this side here. We'll leave that very top section to come back to, and then we can fill in this headland down this side of the field here and finish this off. We will send this to the outside of the field. Oh, sorry, we will turn this into the field, sorry. There we go. So yeah, turn this into the field, coming down here like so, for this headland, and get that a nice straight 180-degree line down the side here, and hopefully that will get all of the field. We've got a small patch there we're going to miss. We have got a small patch there I'm going to miss. Just going to reverse up, do that down. There we go. Sometimes not always very obvious exactly where you need to be, but will allow us to finish off the field there. Look at that. It's a great field, this. In fact, I love our entire farm setup on here. It's brilliant. And with this headland here done, we're actually ending up in a really good place, a really good corner to then get back into the main part of the field. To turn that, and we will head along the roadway up here without having to go on the field at all, and everything nicely lined up, and can head up to the top end of the field here. It is, though, 20 past 1. Wow, this is taking quite a bit of time today. Oh, I needed to leave it the other way. That's all okay, and down, and away we go, filling in this last bit at the top end of the field. With the top section there filled in, we are on the final headland. And pull this up to my edge. There we go. And that will be this field finished. Has taken us better part of this day, though, to get this field done. Maybe this field just being a little bit more finicky and a little bit more difficult to do because it's that squarer shape, means that it does take a little bit longer to do. I'm slightly surprised it's taken us till 20 past 2 to get to this point in this field and get it this far done. It's, yeah. It's a little bit odd, but with this field done, what we can do, head over to the next one and get to work on that. And, yeah, hopefully get both these fields plowed today. We're getting a really nice amount of stones off both these fields. You can see them littering the ground everywhere, which is great. We are controlling the weeds, of course, by doing this too. We won't get any weeds on this field, on either of these fields or any of our fields now, because they have all been ploughed. So that's grand news, and saves us having to get a weeder out on these. So we'll instead of having a weeder on here, we have a stone picker, and the difference is that the stone picker makes us money while the weeder would not. So it makes sense to be ploughing and pulling up some fairly large rocks doing it, because the more rocks we can put into our lime production, the more money we will get out. So that's why I like doing that on here as well. It's amazing to me actually how long these fields are taking to do, and I think we had something similar when we did the other two fields. We didn't quite get all of the rock picking done on both fields. We basically had to rock pick the second field, the one over there, and then seed it and then roll it when we did that. So I think what we're going to end up doing is next time doing the rock picking on here and getting the fields rock picked and seeded. Whether we'll then be able to get them rolled as well, I don't know. It's gonna be a difficult one. We're getting one job done today though. I don't think we're gonna get anything more than this ploughing completed, because we're not even halfway through this second field and it's already 10 to 4 in the afternoon. We've got an awful lot left to do and not a lot of time left to do it. It's just coming up to 5 o'clock, and yeah, we are 2/3 of the way through this field. If that, it's taken us longer today to plough these two fields than I ever expected. So much longer, in fact. I don't think it's the tractor. We seem to be ploughing at roughly 8 miles an hour, which is reasonable speed, but we still seem to be taking longer. And I didn't think these two fields were massively bigger than our other two, but it does seem like next time what we're going to have to do is get these fields destoned and then planted. And if we're able to do that, that would be great. What we then got is a really big amount of work to do on the final day of October to try and get the grass field done. So what I think we're going to try and get these destoned, seeded and rolled in one day next time, and with any luck we should get all of that done, because if we can get that done, we should then be able to turn around and do the same and go through and do everything on our grass field. So get it cut, baled, wrapped, get the bales moved off it, and get the field rolled. Because if we don't roll it before November, we'll end up rolling it when it's got that little bit of growth, which is the whole reason why we want to cut it before November. And that will set it back and will mean it'll be harder for us to get 3 cuts again next year. So it's going to be a tough one. We've got a lot of work to do in a very short period of time. We're stretching into the evening now, and the moon is rising in the sky. We've got the well, we've got all the work lights on because it's getting harder and harder to see things. I am slightly surprised by how long it has taken to get these fields done today. Normally we have more than enough time to get through and get everything ploughed, but apparently not today. It's taken that little bit longer to get everything done. Does mean, as I was saying earlier, we are going to have the stone next day, straight before we plant, and if we're lucky we'll get through all of that with enough time to actually get The rolling done as well to clear things up for the grass, which I do keep going over a fair amount at this point. But it's more from a point of view that I'm really, really surprised. I'm very, very surprised that it's taken as long as it has to get this job done. This job is nearly done though, and that is the important thing. We have got both these fields in a really good place. We just need to do this little section down the bottom here and then get the headlands done, and we'll be done for the evening. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to do much with the water. Hopefully I can get at least some into the lime. How are our greenhouse doing? We've got plenty of water in there, so we don't need to worry about doing that today. It is just the lime production that's going to need some extra water. Gone 7:30 at night, and yeah, everything has, or the sun has set, the moon is up, and we are running on the last bit of headland here for this ploughing, which means this job is then done. As I said earlier though, it has taken us a lot longer than I expected today. And yeah, we are well into the evening. Not abnormal for farming, you know, to be working well into the evening to get a job done. But I'm slightly surprised that we haven't managed to get as much done today as I thought we would. Let's go one more down here because there's a big line of pits here. There we go. Where we haven't actually got it all. That's got it. Right, that should be the whole of this here. Plenty of stones off these fields, so we're going to do well from the lime off here. But speaking of the lime, we do have one more job to do today. We're going to have to now go and drop this off, drop our plough off, and get ourselves the water trailer, because I want to fill up that lime processing unit while we still have the money that allows us to do so. Now, I've picked up the water trailer now, and yeah, we have no water in this at all, so I'm glad we're doing this right now. We absolutely have to do this right now, even if just to get a little bit in there. I don't think we have a huge number of stones, but a couple of water trailer fulls into here should hopefully get our production to a position where we can get it started. Come on, back you up. There we go. So back it up. We want to go and open our stopcock here, like so. Refill our water trailer, and yeah, it won't let us do this unless we actually have money in the bank. If we're negative, which we're likely to be after this game day, we won't be able to fill this water up. So very, very important to get this done now. Now, I don't know if my stone picker is in the way. I'm hoping it isn't. It might be. Right. I'm just going to move the stone picker out of the way, and then we'll try reversing this in again. I've moved the stone picker out of the way, so now we should be able to just reverse this up into here. Yep. And then we can start filling it with water. Even if it's making the noise of rocks going in. No, I think it's actually started up. 2,082 litres, so we need about half water for the amount of stones. I think we probably want to be putting in then another Bowser of water, because we're going to have... Actually, I think another couple of Bowsers of water is probably a really good idea, because we're probably going to double the amount of stones we get off there. So 4,000 litres of water. Actually, which is one more Bowser. That should do the trick. Refilled with a second Bowser. Yeah, 2,082. That will do us up to 8,000 litres of stones. And we currently have 3,000 litres of stones. So we'd need to put in an awful lot of stones in here. Let's just have a look and double check this. Yes, so we do 2,000 to 1,200. So yeah, I think we're good. It is active, so we should activate. So I'll activate this now so that it's pushing through some lime. We are not doing the selling. What output mode have we got? We're storing at the moment. So yeah, that now can just go through and process. Pretty perfect, I think. We'll be in a great position. So there we are. That's where we're going to leave it for today. So all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.